Life channel. This is Roger Ariel. We are reading Ezekiel chapter 46 this evening. The passages include the manner of worship, the prince and inheritance laws, how the offerings were prepared. The manner of worship. Thus says the Lord God: the gateway of the inner court that faces toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and on the day of the new moon it shall be opened. The prince shall enter by way of the vestibule of the gateway from the outside, and stand by the gatepost. The priests shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings. He shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go out, but the gate shall not be shut until evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the entrance of this gate to this gateway before the Lord on the Sabbaths and the new moons. The burnt offering that the prince offers to the Lord on this Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without blemish. And the grain offering shall be 1 ephah for a ram, and the grain offering for the lambs as much as he wants to give, as well as a hin of oil with every ephah. On the day of the new moon it shall be a young bull without blemish, 6 lambs, and a ram. They shall be without blemish. They shall prepare a grain offering of an ephah for a bull, an ephah for a ram, and as much as he wants to give for the lambs, and a hin of oil with every ephah. When the prince enters, he shall go in by way of the vestibule of the gateway, and go out the same way. But when the people of the land come before the Lord on the appointed feast days, whoever enters by way of the north gate to worship shall go out by way of the south gate, and whoever enters by the way of the south gate shall go out by way of the north gate. He shall not return by way of the gate through which he came, but shall go out through the opposite gate. The prince shall then be in their midst. When they go in, they shall go in. He shall go in, and when they go out, he shall go out. At the festivals and at the appointed feast days, the grain offerings shall be an ephah for a bull, an ephah for a ram, and as much as he wants to give for the lambs, and a hin of oil with every ephah. Now when the prince makes a voluntary burnt offering or voluntary peace offering to the Lord, the gate that faces toward the east shall be then opened before him, and he shall prepare this burnt offering and his peace offerings as he did on the Sabbath day. Then he shall go out, and after he goes out, the gate shall be shut. You shall daily make a burnt offering to the Lord of a lamb of the first year without blemish. You shall prepare it every morning, and you shall prepare a grain offering with it every morning, 1/6 of an ephah, and 1/3 of a hin of oil to moisten the flour. This grain offering is a perpetual ordinance to be made regularly to the Lord. Thus they shall prepare the lamb, the grain offering, and the oil as a regular burnt offering every morning. Passage 2. The prince and the inheritance laws. Thus says the Lord God: if the prince gives a gift of some of his inheritance to any of his sons, it shall belong to his sons. It is their possession by inheritance. But if he gives a gift of some of his inheritance to one of his servants, it shall be his until the year of liberty, after which it shall return to the prince. But his inheritance shall belong to his sons, it shall become theirs. Moreover, the prince shall not take any of the people's inheritance by evicting them from their property. He shall provide an inheritance for his sons from his own property, so that none of my people may be scattered from his property. This is interesting because this passage here about the prince shall not evict anybody from his property, and he shall only give his own property as inheritances for his son. When we think about the story of Ahab and Jezebel, and Ahab, the entire story begins with Ahab wanting one of the Israelites' vineyards, which was his property through his, he inherited it through his father. And the king, I guess he would be prince in that sense, wanted it from the person. I forget the name of the individual whose vineyard the prince wanted. But I think these books were actually written after that time. But either way, it seems to be sort of a law. Passage 3. How the offerings were prepared. Now he brought me through the entrance, which was the side of the gate, into the holy chambers of the priests, which face toward the north. And there a place was situated at their extreme western end. And he said to me, This is the place where the priest shall boil the trespass offering and the sin offering, and where they shall bake the grain offering, so that they do not bring them into the outer court to sanctify the people. Then he brought me into the outer court and caused me to pass by the four corners of the court. And in fact, in every corner of the court there was another court. In the four corners of the court were enclosed courts, 40 cubits long and 30 wide. All four corners were the same size. There was a row of building stones all around the four of them. And cooking hearths were made under the rows of stone all around. And he said to me, These are the kitchens where the ministers of the temple shall boil the sacrifices of the people. That was the entirety of chapter 46, you guys. I will be back with chapter 47 and chapter 48. What's kind of shocking to me is I recall reading about, in the book of Ezekiel, I do recall reading about like the watchmen and the military and all of that stuff, like divisions of the land and things like that. And maybe that was a different book of the prophets, but it was you know what, it could have been Joshua too that I'm thinking about. So I am reading comments from time to time. Sometimes I try not to, Silly Sam, just because people tend to argue with each other in these comment sections. It's how are you? The chapter is finished now. I don't know if you know what you were joining here. This is reading the book of Ezekiel, chapter 46 today. I'm well, thank you, Silly Sam. But I do have to get off of this now, and I will be back with chapter 48 soon. Okay, thank you for listening, you guys. Have a blessed evening. God bless you. Bye now.